All right, we've got everything set. One-and-Done-athon is back with Bugsnax any % by Conception. Go ahead and show us how it's done.
All right, I think I will. I think I'll show you how it's done. Thanks so much for the intro. Yes, my name is KonceptionSR. I have a fellow world record Bugsnax holder with me as a commentator, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ness _, the second most influential gamer, only to KonceptionSR.
Oh, please.
The GOAT of all time of Bugsnax on console.
The GOAT of all time, indeed. Yeah, so we're running Bugsnax, and we're running any %. You know, this being One-and-Done-athon, I think it's important to mention, you know, why Bugsnax, why did I choose this to submit and choose to represent this game? Well, this game came out last year, came out, you know, in the midst of a pandemic, where people needed a little bit of light in their lives, I think, and this game is just like a bundle of light. There's a lot of just wholesome characters in this game. Obviously, that Bugsnax themselves, you can see my little Strabby here, very, very cute. But this game has a lot of like beautiful representation that you don't see in video games all the time, and it just has such fun, unique gameplay mechanics that you don't see very often as well. Plus, the 80% run is just a lot. There's a lot of tech to it, and it's a lot of fun to show off. And I'm very glad to be able to do it for One-and-Done-athon before my name is erased completely from the One-and-Done-athon record books. Yeah. So first, let's start off. Ness, go ahead and pick a color: orange, yellow, black, green.
You already know my answer, and it's going to be yellow.
Yeah. I don't know why I asked, but you know, you had to check. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be the color of our main character here. Timing is a little strange. It doesn't start when we select new game. It actually starts as the first cutscene loads in, so I'm going to try my best to time it out for you. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. That was perfect. That was like
that was perfect.
Nose. Yeah.
That was it.
Usually
it's a bit more rough than that.
Yeah, I think it was like a whole second off yesterday when I did this for the Legally Cute Hotfix show yesterday. But this one was perfect, so already off to a better start. But yeah, this is Bugsnax. We're gonna start off with the hardest jump in the game by far, but we're gonna skip like 5 minutes worth of content here if we can do it right. All right,
yeah, so the resets of this game are really funny because it immediately starts off with the hardest jump.
And we're walking on nothing. There's an invisible barrier there that we can use, and that skips an opening cutscene that's about 2 minutes long. You can see Filbo here as we walk on by. We're not going to do any of Filbo's quests. We're instead going to parkour up the rocks, around the side, up on these, and up top, and then beautifully done intro skip.
That was perfectly executed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, skips not only Filbo's intro quest, but like we said, that opening cutscene, so probably about 5 minutes altogether. But if you want to talk about Garden Grove here while I focus on how tight-packed these cycles are.
Garden Grove is pretty difficult, especially because in every Bugsnax speedrun there is, regardless of what category you're doing, this is pretty much going to be the same every single time. As soon as you go into like this room, all the cycles get loaded in, and Conception just wants to like mash to make sure he gets in the same place like in the cycle every single time. And he's immediately gonna like turn around after getting the ketchup and shoot a few things of ketchup just to get the bunger, that first bunger into the corral, and then get this other bunger lured over here to get this shish kebab so he can catch it. And then these bunger are going to get mad at each other so he can catch one of them, and then he's gonna easily get this last shish kebab really perfectly. But he also did this thing with the snack trap where he put it into the ground, he stood on it, and it lined up with the cycle of the fighter walking on the ceiling of the cave underneath. So he peeked it through and actually caught it from the top side. And that was, again, perfectly executed. This guy is incredible at this video game.
Yeah, that was really, really, really clean. So basically, as you're gonna, well, I was gonna say you're gonna see a lot, but you really won't, because these are the only Bugsnax we're gonna catch in the run actually going forward. Oftentimes we will front load what we need to do for the quest lines for things. For example, you know, Wambus had like 3 quests we needed to do, but basically we caught all the Bugsnax in advance and then turned them in all at once. That's the general strategy that would go into this part. And then if we were doing like, say, a no major skips run, we do that a lot as well, just so we don't have to, you know, get a snack, turn it in, get a snack, turn it in, get a snack, turn it in. Way slower to do it that way.
It's also a lot more difficult with categories that have a lot more catching because you only have 6 inventory slots. So it's a lot of management, but because we do so many skips in this game, it's not really going to be a problem. And he's just going to be mashing through an unskippable tutorial with the journal.
Yeah, that is a main advantage of running PC versus console is that you know, I'm running on PS5 as you can see here. I'm just straight mashing, just got to get through everything. But PC, you know, you have the opportunity to bind text mashing to your scroll wheel, which saves you a lot of wrist power,
It's just all finger power instead.
Yeah, exactly. But it is also a lot faster because as fast as I try to mash and things like that, I'm pretty sure a text scroll on the wheel is going to be a lot faster than what I'm able to do probably.
Also, hello, Filbo.
Hi, Filbo. Just going to get in his face. Yeah, we're going to do a quick interview with Filbo here.
You are a journalist in this game, believe it or not.
Yeah, the whole point in terms of story is that we're coming to explore Snaktooth Island, the Bugsnax, the people who live on it, and just kind of learn about their story. There's also a missing resident here that we're going to figure out. But yeah, play the game to learn a little bit more about the lore while I do this attempt to do this sequence break pretty fast.
Yeah, so he jumps up on that like little donation station, I guess is a good word for it. That gets unlocked later in the game to get on top of a roof of a house. In a very weird angle just to get on top, and then he jumps over the river and then jumps on top of a rock to get to just skip the bridge that you would need to get into Sugar Pine Woods. And that skips about like 30% of the game, and then he's gonna do another skip here where in Sugar Pine Woods you see all these rocks, you know, there's like an avalanche or whatever. With a couple of well-timed and well-positioned jumps, you can just get completely over that and get into Frosted Peak very early, and that skips like another like 60% of the game. Yeah, so casually we're probably about like 85 to 90% through the game here, and we're gonna shave off another 5% or so by doing yet another sequence break here. Since we get into Frosted Peak early, which is basically the last biome that you can access, the game gives us all of our tools, so because it's confused, we should have the tools that we needed them to get here, so we should have them. So we use all these tools in order to do one last sequence break, which is to clip right through that door. Basically, I launch myself up onto the lip of the door, and then I place a tripwire there without launching it. We just turn the suction cup of the tripwire a little bit inward towards the door, and if we nail it just so, we can actually use the collision from that suction cup to shove us through the door, and we get into the Undersnacks, which is basically well past the game's point of no return. Yeah, casually, there'd be a final like unskippable like party you would do, where the game would be like, this, you can't do any quests after this. This is it. Like after this, you're done. Like the game is gonna be done. But this is kind of most of the way through that. So the game can't really warn us because the game didn't expect us to click through the door.
Yeah, the game is awful confused right now. But what makes this interesting is that no matter what category you run, similar to when we were talking about Garden Grove earlier, this point forward is the same in every run. We have to mash through this stuff. It's basically a long interactive cutscene where we conduct one last interview here. And then we get thrown into what we call the gauntlet, which we'll dive into in a little bit here. But the devs have teased that there's one last skip that can be done somewhere in this Undersnacks section. We have discovered that it's entirely surrounded by a loading zone. So if we could figure out a way to clip through the floor, the wall, the ceiling, you know, whatever the case, we could. Oops, I forgot to scroll down there. We could somehow skip a large, you know, amount of text scrolling and mashing here, but have yet to been able to do it, unfortunately.
I saw a question in the chat asking if this was DLC. Everything in the game right now isn't DLC, but there actually is DLC that's going to be released later on next year, like early next year, I think.
Yeah, early 2022. I don't know if they had an official like window of like month or whatever, but it should be pretty soon. They've been working on it for a while, so I'm very excited. It's gonna be called the Isle of Big Snacks. So we're gonna get some new Bugsnax as well as some giant versions of snacks that we've already seen. One tiny piece of speed tech that's different in this category than it is in other categories is we can actually mash the talk button while we're talking to Eggabell there. The reason why we're only able to do it in this category is because we haven't talked to Eggabell at all, whereas in any other category you would have had to talk to Eggabell already at this point. For some reason, when you talk to Eggabell as it's going to transition you through that scene, as it's like throwing you out of the mountain, it loads like 2 seconds faster, 2 or 3 seconds faster. So also I'm just casually doing some nice treetop parkour like it's no big deal, but that was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, we totally just like glossed over that. Like you're supposed to like, if you're trying to do that, you have to get on top of like that little post and immediately just like jump off of it. And it's really hard to aim. Like earlier in the game, it's a lot easier to do because like you can line up with like the fence and get on, and it's a lot easier. But that's just really hard. You're just aiming for like a post. It's really hard to see, and it saves like a second or two.
Yeah, a second or two. Yeah, the alternative is to fall down and then jump on the bridge and walk up. So it doesn't lose a lot of time if you miss it. But we are trying to play optimally. So yeah, now we're in the gauntlet. If you want to talk a little bit about the gauntlet while I get this rolling.
Yeah, so the gauntlet is just like the end of the game, like final boss, like the test. Basically, yeah, that was really weird. Basically, the way it works is the game just tests you on all of the different tools that you use throughout the game. So far, we've used one.
Yeah.
I guess 3 technically.
3, but, yeah, 3 to do the door skip.
Yeah, cool. But pretty much it's supposed to be like really hard casually because you're not supposed to have used these tools in like this way before, and it's pretty challenging. At least for me, it was pretty challenging the first time I've had to do it. And we just kind of get through all of the different waves as fast as possible, with some intended means, some unintended means. So in the first one, we used this snack trap. It wasn't really that much. We just got all the strabbies. In this one, we used like the snack grappler, whatever it's called.
That was it.
And we kind of hit everything sideways just to do everything in one like swoop. But at the end, what we did was those Picantuses that came, Conception got behind them and then hit them towards Shilda and Floofty. They were able to eat them to really just speed up that wave, like by like a few seconds. And like sometimes if you hit them in a weird way, they can get stuck behind a wall or stuck in a wall, and it just wastes like 15 seconds while you wait for them to despawn.
Yeah, there's a lot. That is probably the most, beyond like the next section, which is called barrels, and that's more like skill intensive. That's the section of the gauntlet that can cost you the most time because, like I said, Bugsnax can just get trapped behind walls where you can't access, so you have to wait for the game to automatically despawn them. But yeah, hitting them towards Shilda and Floofty, like Ness said, also makes it so Shilda and Floofty eat the snacks. The main reason why that's important is because the Picantus, when you hit it, it bursts into 3 smaller snacks. So if you were to do it as the game intended, you'd have to explode the Picantus, then destroy the 3 snacks that it breaks into. But they eat them instead, which is a lot faster than you shooting the snack grappler like 4 or 5 times. All right, and then here we are with barrels.
One tiny thing to mention, he got stuck in a corner just so he was a lot closer to this trigger. It doesn't save very much time, but it's just something to do to speed up the run a very tiny bit. But the way barrels works is there's Sheepoofs and Graveskeetos that come in waves of 3, except for the last one, they come in waves of 5. And he's trying to aim and time it basically perfectly so he can clear each wave with just 1 barrel. So everything moves along faster. For all the Sheepoofs, it's a lot easier to do because the timing is a lot less strict, where he waits a couple seconds after they spawn and it happens. But with the Graveskeetos, he has to aim down, and then pretty much while they're spawning has to time it, and then hopefully everything works where the Graveskeetos all die in 1 wave. And they can be really mean sometimes, like if you don't aim perfectly fine, sometimes one of the side ones just goes, and then the way they move pretty much in like zigzags, so it's pretty difficult to like get them. He almost got like flawless barrels.
Come on, put it on there. There we go. Oh man, this run was going really, really well. I wasn't like, I don't think I was in a shot of like world record or anything, but like I hadn't really messed up anything at all at that point until the barrels, which is wild. Still didn't lose us a ton of time. I think that lost me like 3 or 4 seconds at most, probably.
Yeah, and for the rest of the gauntlet, there really isn't too much to mention. With the little strappy in a bowl, I love this little dude also. I just want to mention that I love this little guy. Conception doesn't really have to do very much. All the spawns come in the same place, so he just has to make sure that he aims the ball in the same place every time, and it should work out. Sometimes, because this whole part's on a slope, sometimes the strabby can be a little bit weird with where it wants to go. Sometimes it just spins in a circle and doesn't hit anything. But it's not really ever a problem.
No, and most of them will spawn. They're also on a spawn timer. So like even if I miss them, the other ones will still. You know, you don't have to clear out a wave for the next wave to spawn. Most of the waves will start spawning anyway. So even if you miss a couple, they can probably just head on back, and you won't really lose any time. But it's more fun to play than it is not to play, right? So.
Yeah, and then just running up to the front while everything's happening. So by the time the cutscene starts, it's fine. So this is gonna be the most fun part of the gauntlet, the text that we can't skip.
Yeah. It makes no sense. We were able to skip the text out of everyone else who's talked in the gauntlet so far, besides this. Sometimes I don't understand why some text is skippable and why some isn't, but you know, here we are. Enjoy.
It's really funny.
Enjoy this conversation between Wambus and Triffany. All right, so this is the last challenge of the gauntlet, by the way. We're gonna use some special sauce, which is gonna make some bungers and Spuddies run into each other. Basically, we're just placing the sauce in the most optimal locations so that they will run into each other as fast as possible after spawning. Nothing too noteworthy, really. They spawn in the same spots every time. Okay, that was weird. So I just will throw down sauce in these same spots so that it is that much easier. And hit Wambus for good measure.
Yep, so this run is valid.
Yep, this run is valid. Yeah, we talked about this last time, but there are basically two unofficial official things that most Bugsnax runners will do. One is to hit Wambus with some sauce right there. And the two is actually coming up towards the end of this run right away here. Oh, am I in the corner? Oh yeah, I'm stuck. Okay. Yeah,
that one was really bad.
Yeah, that one was particularly bad. There's this weird visual glitch, but also might cost us some time. I've never timed it out, so I'm not entirely sure. But basically, since once we hit the ramp up to the boat there, we lose control of our character. So, and the game wants us to get our character on the boat. If you enter at a weird angle, sometimes instead of going straight onto the ramp to get on the boat, it'll just like keep walking, like shove you in the corner. So I was like just straight walking out of the corner until like the game like up warped me, it looked like just then. But I still had to like back up and then go up the ramp. You can't just up warp onto the boat, of course.
Yeah, that's something I do every time, but not everyone does it every time because people like the maybe half second it saves to not do it.
It might not even. I can't imagine. It seems like things are still operating in the background, so it's hard to say. Oh no, come on. There we go. All right, here's the second thing, which is we gotta throw a shell at Philbo.
Hey, buddy. All right.
There we go. So
okay,
ridiculous.
now this is an official world record.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I mean, it's official. It's not a world record. But yeah, you gotta throw the shell at Philbo. You just have to. You must. Time is coming up, by the way. We just got a little bit of mashing to do here. All right. That's our boss, by the way, who you never met because we skipped the intro cutscene. And time.
GG.
Yes. That's my barometer. If I can get under 17 minutes, I know I had a really good run. So that was really, really good. World record is 16:25 on the PS5, so I was pretty darn close. So awesome. Yeah, this is Bugsnax. Yeah, not too bad. We we kind of talked all the way through it because there's so much to jam in a 16-minute run, 17-minute run, but yeah, big shout outs to Amy here, who is throwing it together One-and-Done-athon. It's been flawless so far. threw together this little bug block, as I like to call it, with bug fables right into Bugsnax. Brilliant schedule design, if I might add. Yeah, and then, yeah, so if you want to learn Bugsnax, so this is one of those runs that is really easy to learn, but hard to master. So it's very easy to jump into it. Speedrun.com/Bugsnax. You can get into our Discord from there. We're very, very friendly group, very willing to help out new runners and, you know, answer all your questions. There's also a subreddit, actually, which is r/Bugsnax speedrunning. If you want to like post your clips or if you have questions, we can answer you in there as well. A lot of fun categories as well. No major skips. You know, play all the main quests, 100% catch all the Bugsnax, all the side quests, all the collectibles, all that. Very fun. And the new category on the block, which Ness_ here has the world record for, which is all bosses or all legendary Bugsnax, which is basically all the large fights in the game plus a bunch of skips in order to skip towards the end of the game after you do those fights. So it's a really, really fun category as well. Other than that, yeah, just follow Ness_ on Twitch, twitch.tv/Ness_, or you can go to dolegaming.info. It's DOLE, like the bananas, because Ness is a monkey ball speedrunner as well, as other games like Bugsnax.
Also, I do want to mention, follow KonceptionSR on twitch.tv. Please. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not following him.
I appreciate that. And, you know, I'll plug this here as well. If you happen to run an awful or a silly game that would fit really well into like an awful or silly block of a GDQ event, I run a hotfix show as well called Awfully Silly. That's every other Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to submit, just go to my Twitter, which is the same as my Twitch, KonceptionSR, and then I have a form up there that you can apply for, and I'll take a look. But other than that, I think that's about it. That's all the shout outs I have. Thanks for having me. And, you know, I guess I just stop existing at this point, right? Because I can't do anything else. Like, I'll just erase.
Yeah, you know, great run, excellent run. But as has become the custom in the last, I don't have a watch. That would have looked really cool if I had a watch. 4 hours on One-and-Done-athon. Goodbye forever, Conception.
All right. I mean, I'm just disappearing. I guess I'll see you later. Bye.
Yeah, like you said, check out Awfully Silly. It's another hotfix show similar to Aimbot, like the one I run. It's really cool. Definitely check it out. And yeah, so we've finished the mini bug block, and that's sort of transitioning into a more of a silly games, short indie games block. I didn't really have a defined schedule for that, but that sort of thing. Stick around. Cat in the Hat on the PS1 is up next. So take a quick break and grab it.
Sent them away.